Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and this is Varun Tahin. So in the previous sessions, we looked at t-distributions and the scenarios where it can be used. Now this session is mainly for demonstrating the practical implementation of two sample mean test, proportion test, A/B testing and how we can use hypothesis testing using Python. So before starting, I would like you to go through the previous videos as the preliminary knowledge is essential to cover the practical aspects. Now in the previous sessions, we have already studied how do we compute the p-values for a single sample. And through that, we also saw how to determine whether the hypothesis is true or not. Now in this session, we will first go through the demonstration of the hypothesis testing on Excel, and then we will see how do we perform the hypothesis testing using Python. So guys, this table on the screen shows the commute time of the employees with all the numerical values. So this is a single sample. And you can see that we have hypothesized the mean time for this sample, which is 35. And then we will use all the formulas and computation to prove whether this hypothesis is true or false. So there is a single sample in this case, and such a test is called one sample mean test. So there is a single sample here and we can calculate the p-values and check if the hypothesized mean time is 35 or not. Now there can be scenarios where we have two samples. So we will look at such special cases in this session. So I have made a GitHub repository specially for this task and which contains dataset that we will be using in this session. So what we will do is we will download it using this link over here. So I'll just click it. So it will land up to a GitHub repository wherein you can download the zip or basically clone the repo using Git. So either ways you can do it, and once you have downloaded, you have to open two sample mean test file over here. So I have already downloaded it, and what we need to do is we need to go to the second sheet and you will observe that it will show you the commute time on day 1 and day 2 for the employees. And you can even notice that the number of values in both the cases is 32. So once you click on this column, it will show count as 33. So once you include the first row, which is commute time on day 1, you'll get 32 rows or 32 values over here, and the same will be in this case too. So you can say in other words that the values are for the same employee on different days. So this is called a two sample mean test paired. Now you might be wondering what kind of test do we perform in this case? Because in the first case there was one sample and we computed a mean and we tested our hypothesis with hypothesized mean which is equal to the computed mean. So in this case there would be two means if we go by that method. But here we are not looking at the mean but rather the difference in the mean. So the null hypothesis here would become the difference between the two mean is x. And then we are going to test whether that hypothesis is true or false. So suppose we say that average difference between the mean time on day 1 and day 2 is 0. Then the null hypothesis will become the difference in mean is actually 0 between the two column values, and we are going to do a test to prove whether it is true or not. Now previously we had used p-values and carried out the test, but in these cases we don't have to go into all that detailed steps because we have tools at our disposal that we can use to carry out these. And one such tool is the Excel itself, where we can use the add-ins to add the data analysis tools. So the first step is to check the add-ins tab whether you have something there or not. So to do that, what we do is we just go here in the search button and we type here add-ins and go to this actions add-ins, where it will show you the active add-ins available and which are disabled. So the ticked ones are the enabled ones and the non-ticked are the disabled ones for us. Okay. So if you are not getting these options guys, we need to go to this link which is mentioned here and follow the steps mentioned for different OS that you are using, either Windows or Mac OS. So this document says to go to file first and then options and go to the add-ins tab over here. Select Excel add-ins from the drop down and click go. So it will defaultly open the previous window which we have seen earlier. Okay. So for this test to happen, we would need the analysis tool pack. So we'll check this and click OK. So once we do this, we need to go to the data tab and you will see that data analysis tools will come as an additional add-in here. So what we'll do is we will click data analysis and then so here you can see that it gives you various function and data analysis tools that you can apply and do various tests. So at the bottom you can see that it is mentioned t-test pair 2 sampled for means. So we will select this and click OK, and then it will ask for your inputs. So for variable 1 range, we will just select the first day commute times values. That is, we will click the cell which is B2 and then just scroll down to the last value for that particular column. Keep pressing shift button and select the last value which is 38. So it will select the whole column instead of the first, which is the label for that. So here you can see that it has selected data from B2 to B33, which are the cell values. Now you can go to the variable 2 range, click here, and then again do the same thing for this also, but this time we will select the commute time on day 2 values. So I'll just click on 23, then go to the bottom, keep on pressing shift and then click on 31. So it has selected these values. Now the next thing is we have to give the hypothesized mean difference. So here we are assuming that the difference will be 0. So I'll just give 0. Labels I'm not ticking because anyways I have taken the values and not the label. And the third option is output options. So either you can output it to the new sheet, or you can output it to the range, or you can output it to the new workbook. Now what I will do is I will select new worksheet PLY and click OK. So it will output the result to a new sheet, and I'll just expand all these columns so that it is easier for us to interpret. So it has given us the mean, variance, observation, Pearson's correlation, hypothesized mean difference, and along with that it has given various statistics like p-values for one-tail test, p-value for two-tail test, and t-critical for one and two-tail test. Now you don't need to use both p-values for one-tailed and two-tail, as it depends upon the hypothesis you are using. So as in our case we said that the difference to be 0, it is a two-tail test, but anyways both of these values is greater than the alpha, which is 0.05. So you can see that p-values for the one-tailed and the two-tailed is exceeding 0.05, and therefore we cannot reject the null hypothesis. So guys, now that we have seen the paired test, you might have a question around whether there is a 2 sample mean test for unpaired as well. Now let's understand this using an example. Let's say that a company has X number of employees and another company also has X number of employees, and we record their commute times. Now in this case there is no common factor employee, which is common in both the companies. Now these number of sample values in two different sample can be different, and we just need to ensure that the difference should not be huge, because in that case we will have to take care of the other factors as well. So in this sheet which we are seeing on the screen, which refers to the commute time of different teams, where no member of the team is common in both the teams, it becomes the unpaired test. So again in this case we can use the same data analysis tool in the Excel. So I'll just go to data analysts and go to the bottom of this and select the t-test to sample assuming unequal variances. So guys, this we have selected because we are not sure of the variance. If you are sure of the variance, then you can select the equal variances option also. But it is safe to select this, so I am just selecting this, and the rest of the steps remain same as we have done for the paired sample. So please take this as your exercise and select a hypothesis and check if your hypothesis is true or false. So guys, this is how we conduct hypothesis test using Excel. And with more exploration you will be better off, so I will encourage each one of you to explore more data analysis functionalities and test with different hypotheses so as to make your concepts more concrete. So this will be all for today guys. Hope this session helped you to gain some idea on how do we conduct hypothesis test in real life. In the next session I will be covering the rest of the concepts we plan to take, that are 2 sample proportion test, A/B testing, industry demonstration, and hypothesis testing using Python. Thanks guys for supporting my channel. I would request you all to continue your love and support and subscribe my channel if you have not yet subscribed, and give me feedback if you need me to make some specific content related to data science. I will see you soon in the next session. Until then, thanks and happy learning.